Welcome back to Good Morning Transfers. Tottenham were knocked out in the second round of the League Cup last night after losing to Fulham on penalties. For more on that and their transfer business this summer, we can speak to Lee McQueen from the Last Word On Spurs podcast. Good morning, Lee. Thanks for coming on Good Morning Transfers. How disappointed were you with that result last night?
Alex, it's disappointing, isn't it? We've been here before. All Spurs fans know it. I don't think we've been in the second round of the Carabao Cup since, I think it's 2009, if my memory serves me correctly, because of European competition. We're not in European competition this time around, as we all know. So domestic cups, massively important, hugely important for us Spurs fans. And we go out at the first time of asking. 9 changes. That has to be on Ange. We love Ange. We love what he's brought to the football club so far. But 9 changes, why? That's the question on all of our lips this morning, Alex, isn't it?
Are you still loving Ange?
We are loving Ange. We are loving Ange for sure. But, you know, that's on him last night. 9 changes. I think in isolation, when you make maybe 1 or 2 changes, and we changed our entire midfield three. We had Højbjerg, Skip and Lo Celso versus Basuma, Sarr and Maddison. And it was chalk and cheese. I mean, if anything that we've learned, I mean, us Spurs fans know that midfield weren't going to be good enough, but Ange needs to find it out himself. He's definitely found it out that. And it's come at a cup exit as well. I mean, this isn't our growth. Big Ange, right? This is Fulham. They're a Premier League side, and it's under the lights at Craven Cottage whilst it's rocking. And I must say as well that away fans, Tottenham fans, were absolutely magnificent last night, and that's really the only positive that's come out of the game, which has our away support, and we deserve more.
Lee, as for the transfer market, it looks like the focus is on outgoings, and Manchester United have made contact over a deal for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Would you sell him to a Premier League rival? Would you be okay with that?
They might be U-turning that, Alex, after last night, to be fair. Look, I mean, I think Pierre has made it quite clear that he wants to play Champions League football, that he wants to move on. I think he's part of the old leadership group, as it was, with the likes of Harry Kane, with the likes of Eric Dyer, the likes of Hugo Lloris, of which all of them, bar obviously Harry, our star striker, is now left. And that leadership group has been moved on or moving out under Ange. I think it's important. I think strengthening a rival is a difficult one to take, but we would need to bring somebody in. And I just hear in the panel there talking before about Amrabat. We were heavily linked with him before the World Cup as well, and maybe that's a deal to be done there. But I think moving Højbjerg on and moving some of these other players on, I just mentioned, Spence, Rodon, Winks and Parrott are the only ones that have gone out. Obviously, our star striker, Harry Kane. You've then got the likes of people like Japhet Tanganga. You've got the likes of Sergio Reguilon, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. There's a lot of players to move on, and we've got what, Alex? 3 days left, two and a half days left of the window.
You mentioned Harry Kane. He's settling in well at Bayern Munich. Now, Eric Dyer has been offered to the Bundesliga side. Could you see that happening?
I don't know, actually, to be fair. I mean, it was quite left field. I saw the report yesterday, I was like, no way, that can't surely happen. I mean, Eric's been an outstanding servant for Tottenham Hotspur, always gives it his all, very professional, really good guy. But I think, like a lot of these players that have been around for a long time, the likes of Hugo Lloris, I just talked about, Sergio Reguilon and Dembele still at the football club. Eric's been at the club now for 8-9 years. I think it's probably time for him to move on. He hasn't made a match day squad under Ange at all, and that's four games now, Alex. So I think that it's probably time for him to move on, and what a great move that would be for him.
I'm sure Harry will be happy to see him as well out in Germany. And Davinson Sanchez, Japhet Tanganga, 2 players that could leave the club as well over the next couple of days. Is it time for them to move on?
Well, I think, look, we've been heavily linked, haven't we, with the likes of Tosin Adebayo, with Tapsoba, which seems to have gone kind of quite quiet. One to keep an eye on, actually, is Wout Weghorst from Leicester. I don't know what your sources are talking about, but we've been told a couple of times that he may be being looked at by Spurs from an incoming point of view. But yeah, I mean, look, Sanchez had the guts yesterday to step up and take a penalty. To everybody's surprise, I don't think any of us thought the third penalty taker will be a centre-back, let alone Davinson Sanchez, but it was. And unfortunately he missed, and that's what's put us out, essentially. But, he's again been at the club a long time. Last year of his contract, the likes of Eric Dyer we've talked about, the likes of Japhet Tanganga, he's got like 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. There's a player in Jaffet for sure, but ultimately he needs to go out at least on loan and get some football. Some of these players need to play football. And I think that's what Ange was saying yesterday. That's the reason why I made 9 changes. But, you know, it's cost us a decent cup run in the Carabao Cup. So it was a mistake for me. And some of these players do need to be moved on, Alex. And it's been far too long. We need to get them out. We've got a huge squad. You know, even players going out on loan like Alfie Devine and Troy Parrott, maybe Scarlett goes out on loan, sorry, but we've still got 33, 34 players. And we haven't got a midweek game now until January, until the FA Cup starts. There's no European football, no Carabao Cup football. We're literally playing 1 game a week. Unless the Premier League fixtures stitch us up, of course. And how are you going to be able to rotate? You typically need 18, 20 players for that now, and we've got 33. There's a lot of work to do in a window, Alex.
And Lee, no news about an out-and-out striker joining before the deadline. Would you say you're happy with the players you do have, provided the ones you want to get offloaded are offloaded?
Yeah, I think context around yesterday is that actually if you make 1 or 2 changes, they probably don't look bad changes. You know, as an example, if you play Basuma and Maddison in the middle and then takes Sarr out for Skip, you probably don't leave massive holes. But because we put all 3 of them in, it feels a lot worse. So there is a bit more strength in depth than what we saw yesterday. But yeah, Ansu Fati is one that's been linked literally this morning by some journalists out there. Maybe a loan deal that we're talking to Barcelona about. Jonathan David's been heavily linked. Gift Orban, them rumours won't go away. But I think the one that will actually get done is Brennan Johnson. I know he's not an out-and-out number 9. I don't think Ange Postecoglou and his team want or need another number 9. I think what they're looking for is somebody that can play across the front 3. And I think Brennan Johnson actually fits that bill. So we're hopeful that deal will get done, because we could have used some of his pace for sure yesterday against Fulham.
Lee, great to get your thoughts. Thanks for coming on Good Morning Transfers. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks ever so much.
Right, so Eric Dyer to Bayern Munich. Zach, did you see this one coming?
You know what? At the beginning of the window, I don't think so. Now, yes. Obviously, he looks like he's not in Postecoglou's plans. Lee mentioned there, obviously, he's not been in any of the Premier League matchday squads so far. And obviously, he's been a huge servant to them over the last few years. He's made 361 appearances across 9 years at the club. Now, if you look at him kind of going towards Bayern and you think about obviously what Thomas